Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Another day in the Philippines. As you can hear, I got rain again this morning. I guess I'll never get to go back out to the chicken hut or coop. It appears that way. I did mention, I think in the last video, we did pick up the vaccine for our chicks, which will be scheduled, I think on March 30th, something like that. But anyway, that's where we're at on that. Well, guys, it's confirmed. I'm pretty positive, I'm 99% sure I've got a head gasket problem. I'll show you a short video of it. Hopefully, if I can, I'll put it right here, and we'll go from there. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. As of yesterday, I started getting water out the exhaust, so it's getting worse. So I'm not going to be able to drive the van for quite some time. It means no transportation. Well, it's not the end of the world. Grace can still go using the motorcycle taxis, they call it, hubble. Our neighbor, that's what he does. So it's not the end of the world. Me personally, I'll be very restricted, but that's okay. I like being at home. I've got parts ordered. New head gasket, new valve cover gasket, a fresh oil change. I've got coolant on hand, thankfully. Coolant's expensive. I guess y'all aware of that. I don't want to tell you that. You know. Anyway, we'll try to get a hold of the mechanic that's experienced in doing this today. I sent him a message yesterday, but he must have been tied up. Because he's pretty good about responding. Parts should be here by the end of the week. If I'm lucky. I just really, I didn't want to take this project on. And we can't afford to just run out and buy another vehicle. And I really don't want to. Even if we could afford it, I'd probably still take these measures. Because it's a good little vehicle. Over time, we've put quite a bit into it. But still less money than what we would if it had been brand new. And if it had been brand new, we would have been up a problem. What if we've been out of warranty with a newer vehicle? Parts availability? That's another question. Probably would be something that could only be done at a dealership, and they wouldn't have parts on hand. Not here. And what I've heard from other vehicle owners, it could be a nightmare. Another thing too, the folks at the dealership to me, about 4 hours either way. So that would be very inconvenient. But in most cases, I probably wouldn't experience this. But that would be a worst case scenario. But overall, I'm not complaining. No, I'm not complaining at all. Life for me here is still good. I still get to enjoy my coffee, enjoy the rain. But there's something about not having transportation available to you on demand, even though you're not going anywhere. It's a security blanket knowing that you can just go and open the door and put a key in and let's go. You know, that's something, you know, to think about. I remember when I first got here back in 2010, I went, I think 10 months, if I remember correctly, without any transportation at all. We just relied upon local transportation. Of course, I was living in the city at the time, so it wasn't too bad. Then I started doing the math, you know, even though it's cheap, time you go here, there, and here, and do things that you need to do, yeah, it was starting to get expensive to ride. Especially if you go several different places in one day, and the short hops were cheap, but if you had to go somewhere any distance, it started to add up. After 10 minutes of that, of course, at that time, money was really tight. Because I was just getting my feet on the ground, we were renting, and we went through a struggling time. But we survived it. And I look back on that, you know, it was an enjoyable time, to be honest with you. Oh, some people say those were the days. Would you want to go back to that? Not really. But it was enjoyable. It was an experience. Really, when I was really on a really restricted budget then. But it taught us how to look for the best deals and how to cut corners and and we once we got transportation, a little motorcycle, a little Honda Wave 125. We got out to explore and everything, and we actually started saving money. And that's what brought us to here, you know. Once we learned how to cut corners and everything, we ended up saving money. And the only payment we got now is, like I said before, a couple other videos. That's where we bought the refrigerator, which that'll be over with soon enough. What I'm doing, I'm sitting there reminiscing about the old days when I first here. Of course, at that time I could get around much better too. That's another thing too. That's something I miss. Is when I was able to physically do a lot more. Now I'm restricted quite a bit. You know, I've got this vertigo, and I walk around like a drunk man all the time. And that's very disturbing. You know, but that's life. It's something I have to deal with, and I'm not complaining. I manage, and I still enjoy life in many different ways. Yeah. Anyway, folks, you hear my sad stories, but there are some good entertainment here. You know, I take a lot of entertainment with the kids. You know, usually on the weekends. I usually have several kids here, and they get to enjoy the TV. You know, remember these kids, most of us don't even have electricity, so it's a real treat. They're coming to my gate, you know, I know what they want. They want to come out and watch TV. And I get them to come in, and they get snacks and things like that, and I sit here and I kind of observe them, and they're so intent watching the TV, just like you can see the amazement in their eyes. I take a lot of pleasure in that, being able to give. That's a gift of of enjoyment that they wouldn't experience probably for a long time. And I enjoy that so much, and it's hard to explain sometimes with words. And I'm not real good with words, as you're well aware of. I'm just an old hillbilly, and I'm slang, and there's a lot in life that people miss out on when they don't look around. And they take a lot of things for granted. I enjoy here because I get to reminiscing, see what I tell you about my limited vocabulary. About when I grew up. Well, I experienced a lot of this when I was a kid. So, having an outside toilet, no running water, drawing water out of a well, having animals on hand, the pigs and the cows and chickens and all that, and having a garden, which I don't have here. We grow some things, but nothing like I did when I was younger. But all those things I did as when I was growing up. So my grandparents, they was pretty well self-sufficient. My grandmother, she was the place to come to if you was hungry, because we always managed to can food and have food on hand during hard times. And I can remember many meals with strangers sitting at the table, and that was something that stuck with me, and I enjoyed so much hearing their stories, their life events. And for those of you out there that hasn't experienced that, it's something. I know it's hard to imagine growing up in time in the U.S. without electricity, without water, running water, and so forth. But back in the late 50s and early 60s, that was still common in a lot of rural areas. Or at least it wasn't mine. The heart of the Appalachian Mountains. And the road was a lot worse than I have here. Old dirt road, I can remember it. Had to walk a long way just to go to school. In the wintertime, that was really rough. But I managed it, and these memories have stuck with me all my life. And I guess it taught me how to appreciate everything around me. And what am I doing here? I'm just sharing it with you, is all. Where you might not even be interested, probably boring. But that's life, and that's the way I grew up, and I learned to do. I was always mechanically inclined, so from way back in memory, I always tinkered on things, and I learned a lot that way, self-learning, and I always worked at something and made a little bit of money. You'd be surprised how many days I worked all day for a quarter. That was a big day when I got 50 cents. But anyway, that's part of life that I grew up with. Folks, if you follow me to this time, if you listen to me yap at this, you know how much I appreciate you. But thought I'd share a few moments of time with you. Let you know life can be good. All you gotta do is allow it. Everybody take care now, and thanks for watching.